common trap that we've seen from customers is receiving inaccurate respondent data. So you may have received respondent data from your customers that might have been not in the format you need, or just plain inaccurate data, or also in ways that can cause errors in your connectors, which is definitely not what you want. This can cause issues not only for you and your backend processes, but also extra work for you and your respondents, because you might have to go back to your respondents, ask them more information, or to have them clarify information, or even to resubmit the form, which is just not a good look for you. So what are some tips to avoid that trap of receiving inaccurate respondent data? So some of these tips are just going to be in general tips. And the first general tip is going to be making sure you are using validation for your forms. And then also spam filters and those clear questions can help to make sure that you're receiving accurate data for your needs. So validation rules can be underutilized. You may have respondents that are dropping off because they're running into issues or errors or things that can be resolved if you just use validation rules. So you can use those validation rules to help your respondents enter accurate information before it sends through a connector and causes an error that may be causing them to drop from the form. You can use spam filters to help keep your data clean, so spam responses aren't clogging up the data and information you need from your respondents. And when you take a moment and consider what you actually need from your respondents and use questions that clearly ask the information you need, you can improve your data integrity by only collecting the specific information you need from your respondents. And then let's take a closer look at some of those tricks specific to FormAssembly that you can use to ensure accurate respondent data. In FormAssembly, you're able to use our custom validation settings to add in a custom regular expression to further validate your respondent data based on your needs. You're also able to add in a limit to the number of characters your respondents can enter into a field, thereby limiting the amount of connector errors your respondent might encounter. You're also able to set up your date fields to be based off of relative dates so that your respondents can only select dates that you have chosen. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Emily so she can show you some of these tricks in action in FormAssembly.
Okay. So I am going to show you on a form just some ways that we can look at some custom validation. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some predefined content. You can make your own content and add this to your predefined content, but for now I'm just going to go for the contact details. So the first field we're going to look at is the phone field. If you click options and under validation rules, here you will see that this is already built in to the predefined content, but it's an expected input format. And there is a regular expression that you can see that has been already saved here. What this expression tells the form is that the respondent can only enter 10 digits between 0 to 9. There's also a format which the respondent will have to honor in order to submit the form. If we look at this email field here, we go on validations. What I want to do is I want to have the expected input being email. What this means is, in order for the respondent to submit the form, this field must have a top-level domain. What it also means is that you can then use this field in your auto response or to send out notifications to the respondent. We're going to have a look here at limited text field. So sometimes when you're using Salesforce, there will be certain fields that will have either a word or character limit. And if the respondent goes over that count, it will throw an error, which isn't great for the respondent. So what we want to do is we want to set a limit. To do this, we're going to click validations, and just underneath here, it says limit length of answer. So I'm going to say that the Salesforce field has a maximum of 80 characters. So I'm going to put in 80 characters and click save. What this means is the respondent will have to honor that when they are filling out the form. As Joelle mentioned, you can also use validation when looking at date fields. So here I have added a text field. I'm going to click Options, and I want to validate this as a date with calendar. But I don't want it to be any date. For example, maybe I want the respondent only to have the options of, let's say, 10 days after the form has been submitted or before. And what that means is the only options that will appear on the pop-up are those relative dates.